Lights, camera, sports cards, lads and gents, and welcome in to episode something into the teens now of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast, the show where we talk about what cards are hot, what cards are cold, and what cards you should consider investing in at the moment. Thanks for tuning in as always, and if you're new, welcome in. Come sit with the cool kids. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Hollywood. That's the Batman to my Robin, the Ron Weasley to my Harry Potter, my Samwise Gamgee, Joe Nasty Jonas to my right.
I think of myself more as a Ginny, actually.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. But whose cards have been hot? Whose cards have been cold? Who can you turn a profit on in the coming weeks and months? Let's jump right in. Hot card number one is Taylor Swift.
The Ginny Weasley of pop music.
When I say Taylor Swift, I mean Travis Kelce. But Travis Kelce, tight end for the Chiefs, of course, his 2013 Topps Chrome rookie card in a PSA 9 and PSA 10. The PSA 9 was up 83% to $103 over the past week. That has to be some sort of error. The PSA 10 was up 8%.
God forbid.
God forbid, yeah. The PSA 10 was up 8% to $161 over the past week. What has Travis Kelce done besides scored Taylor Swift? He has he has 11,000 career...
What has he caught? What has he
He also caught Taylor Swift.
Oh, I say there could be something else. You never know where people have been.
But he has 11,328 career yards and
sense.
74 touchdowns. But last year was Travis's first non-1,000 yard receiving season since 2016.
Wow.
I'm just going to say, he's getting older.
Yes.
The regression is most likely coming for Travis Kelce. But I will say, he's a major Swiftie. And that
the number one.
And that is going to buoy the value of his cards, at least by a little bit. It's crazy to say that, but I actually think the fact that he is dating Taylor Swift will actually make him more recession-proof, in my opinion. Travis hates the photo of this card. I think it's hysterical. I love it. It basically just looks like a frat boy, like this,
Which
with
he
like a
kinda
football.
is.
Which he
He
kind of is,
kinda
yeah.
is.
Absolutely classic photo. But what are your thoughts on Travis Kelce's epic rookie Topps Chrome card? You can comment on Swift, maybe not. Up to you. Go.
So he signed a new 2-year extension back in April.
Yeah.
Right. And I imagine that's going to close out his career. Also, I'd like a freeze frame of the face you just made, and then I'd like to hold on to that forever. Thank you.
Freeze frame? What did I do?
You made the Kelce face on his card. Yeah, that one. I'd like a freeze frame of that. I think that contract's probably going to close out his career. He's been whispers of him hanging it up the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
He's been battling a ton of injuries, including, I believe, a back injury last year, which as a tight end and a guy who works in the middle of the field and takes a lot of hits from safeties and linebackers, and he turns his back to the other end zone and takes those hits. Having a back injury is not really the one you want to be working with.
Dancing with Swifties ain't no joke either.
No, he really gets after it. And
He does get after it.
Like, we've seen his touchdown dances as well. He's got very swivelly hips. Mm-hmm. Perhaps most important. So here's the thing about Travis Kelce. Everyone last year talked about, the Chiefs wide receivers are terrible. Patrick Mahomes can't trust his receiver. It doesn't matter. Travis Kelce is the secret sauce of that offense. So I would really like to see what happens when Travis Kelce does hang it up, and then what really happens to the Chiefs, because he is the ultimate security blanket. He is the best receiving tight end we've probably ever seen.
Yeah.
And, he'll go into the Hall of Fame, and so the cards will hold value.
Right.
But I don't think we're going to see him for much longer, at least on a football field.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this card is actually a pretty classic one. I would actually consider picking this one up, if I'm being totally honest. He's one of the best, arguably the best in his prime tight end of all time. Helps that he has probably the second best quarterback of all time as
Yeah,
well.
but you could argue it's like give and take, right?
Right.
Come see, come saw.
Right, exactly. Ooh, French. Nicely done.
They call me the little baguette.
We're going to move into our second hot card of the week, and that is Washington Nationals outfielder. Well, now he's a Washington Nationals outfielder. Yes. It is Dylan Crews, his 2024 Bowman Chrome First Prospect autograph in a PSA 10. That is up 31.5% this week. $467 for that bad boy and climbing. What did he do in the minors? He hit .270 with 13 homers, 68 ribs, 25 stolen bases, and a .793 OPS. Of course, he was the number 2 overall pick in the 2023 draft behind Paul Skeens.
Right.
He's 22 years old, so he is a little bit more seasoned, let's say, which is why he kind of essentially went straight to AAA. But he will make his MLB debut on Monday night, which will be tomorrow night. This episode will probably release also sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Ooh.
He's 22. His minor league numbers were good.
Better in AAA than double A.
Yeah, better in triple than double, which does lead you to believe that is a good sign. That is always a good sign. Do I think he's going to be a difference maker this year? Well, I mean, let's be honest. With all due respect to the Nationals, because I am literally wearing a Nationals jersey.
Arguably the best City Connect.
I will say that for sure, especially with the cherry blossoms. Yes. It's a badass jersey. Pick one up. MLBshop.com. 25% off if you use our code.
Promo code Evan or Mr. Hollywood.
Promo code Mr. Hollywood gets you 25% off in like 3 years, guaranteed.
And a letter back saying, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, exactly. But look, Dylan Crews is coming to a tough situation. Obviously, the Nationals are having a little bit of a rough year. This is about to fall off, so I'm going to move it.
Thank you.
I don't think he's going to be a crazy difference maker. That's just me. So, $460, I think he has all the talent in the world. I think he could be a great player down the line. I just don't think he's quite ready yet. I'm expecting this guy to go, like 240, 250, maybe hit like 20 homers, 60 RBIs or so. So, he's going to be a good rookie, right? But I don't think he's necessarily a game changer, not ready for that yet. What are your thoughts on Dylan Crews coming up to the show tomorrow night?
I'm excited. It's another LSU Tiger debuting, as you mentioned, drafted number 2 behind Paul Dunn. Sorry, Skeens. Here's the thing, and this is what I'm really excited about with Dylan Crews. If he pans out, they're adding him to this really young core in the Capitol.
Yeah.
James Wood, C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, and then maybe Dylan Crews. If you want to really break it down scientifically, and there's something going on in the Nationals organization, because Dylan Crews, much like James Wood, has had an issue with pulling the ball in the air. So keep an eye on that as you go along. If you look at these sort of numbers to determine players' future value and their stats, Dylan Crews in the minors was not pulling the ball in the air, which means that he's not really going to hit for a lot of power necessarily. And in fact, James Wood not only had the same issue, he only hit his first pulled home run just this past week.
Yeah.
And he's now been in the majors, a month or two?
Yeah, but James Wood had a ton of power in the minors.
Ton of power, but just not pulling the ball.
Yeah.
So once they adjust to him, if he's not getting his bat around, if he's not opening up those hips, what does that mean for his power down the line? Big leagues, a little bit different.
I mean, obviously, Freddie Freeman right here is the ultimate not pulling power type guy. I mean, he does, in his prime, of course, he was hitting 30-plus homers a year. But that's kind of, with what you're saying, that's kind of like the model player that someone like Dylan Crews can kind of hope to
Freddie
maybe
Freeman,
turn
though,
into.
what, like 6'4"? Dylan Crews is
No,
listed.
he's not 6'4".
6'3", though, at least. Dylan Crews is
I don't
listed
know
at
about
5'11".
that. Look up Freddie's height.
I will, but
Look
Crews
up
is
Freddie's
listed at 5'11". That's sort of a
but
big
he's not 5'11". I feel like he's
5'10".
I feel like he's smaller than that.
So that's, I mean, big, but Freddie's still a big, strong man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He is looking. How thin is Freddie Freeman looking these days?
He is
I feel
listed.
like he needs to eat a burger.
Freddie's listed at 6'5".
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Since when is Freddie Freeman 6'5"?
It's all in the teeth.
Yeah, it might be.
It's all in the chompers.
Might be.
He also tucks his pants in at his nips. So
He
like,
does.
It makes him look
He
taller.
does. He does. He also looks like he eats like
6'5",
he
220.
also looks like he eats like a rabbit.
Why? Because of his teeth.
No, I mean
I know
you
what
can't. This dude has clearly lost weight from last year to this year, and the year
Ozempic?
before that.
You think he's
and
in
the
Southern
year-
California doing the Ozempic diet?
Yeah, Ozempic is huge here.
I saw a
Maybe
TV ad for it.
maybe he's Ozempicing. Who knows? Either way,
about
pretty
to get-
sweet card.
We're about to get sued.
Yeah, maybe. We love you, Freddie.
We do.
But we're gonna jump on into our cold cards of the week, and our first one. This one really surprised me, and I don't know if I need to be surprised about this guy anymore because this has happened a couple years ago too. But Aaron Judge is going to hit, as long as he doesn't get hurt. Aaron Judge is going to hit 60 home runs again, for the second time in 3 years. Yet his 2017 Topps Chrome rookie card in a PSA 10 and his 2013 Bowman Draft Picks card in a PSA 10 are down 1.8 and 1.6% this week. I know that's not a lot to be down like 2%, say. And yes, these cards, keep in mind, are up 15 to 30% over the past month, right? So they are up, but in the past weeks, they are down as he has accelerated his home run pace.
Yeah.
He hit home run number 50 and 51 today. He is hitting over 375 with 47 home runs in the past 100 games.
Which is a good season.
Which is an unbelievable season,
Yeah.
right? If you like extrapolate that out, it's the second time I've used the word extrapolate. Pretty big word. Learn it.
Good Scrabble word.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of points on Words with Friends, right? I guess that's the new version of Scrabble.
Right.
For all of you Gen whatever we're on, you probably don't know what Scrabble is, but you probably know what Words with Friends is.
Yes.
But on the season, he's hitting 334, 51 bombs, 122 ribs, 6 stolen bases, and a nearly 1.2
That's
OPS. Aaron Judge is the best, this version of Aaron Judge is the best hitter that we have ever seen in baseball since roided up Barry Bonds.
Right.
He flat out, he is. And I don't think there's any doubt that Aaron Judge is doing this the right way.
No, he's just huge.
Look, this dude's like 6'8". 6'8", he's a tank. He hit like, and this is, Judge and Ohtani are the two guys where sometimes it just looks like they like hit a pop-up.
Yeah, and he flies.
And it just like casually goes into like the first or second row.
That's how it was with the Ohtani 40-40.
Yeah,
Grand
yeah,
Slam.
exactly.
I can't believe he hit that out.
Yeah, he was like reaching off balance, and it was also the shortest part of the ball. Let's be honest, it was a 336-foot home run.
Still, they hit that 336.
Yeah, it's true, true. But yeah, Judge is the best offensive player in baseball. I really don't think that's a debate.
No.
He is the best batter in baseball, but I find it really interesting. When he hit 61 2 years ago, this happened too. His cards like bumped up like 30%, and then when he broke the record, like stuff didn't go crazy for him. It really didn't. I had some of it and tried to sell it, and I couldn't sell it. Like, I don't know what it is, if this is like a bubble, like if Aaron Judge is a bubble, if New York is a bubble, or what is going on. But what are your thoughts on Aaron Judge cards being down 2% this week while he hits home run number 50 and 51? And it is virtually, at this point, looks like guaranteed, nothing's ever guaranteed, but at his pace, he would break the all-time Yankee record, right? Or he already did 2 years ago.
That's the AL record.
The AL record.
Mm-hmm. Which is the Yankee
Yeah,
record.
He's looking like he's going to break his own record and set a new bar. But what are your thoughts on Aaron Judge and his cards being down 2% this week?
Look,
Interesting.
He is a monster. I do wonder if there's a couple things at play here. One being that he's kind of boring. I know he's humongous, and I know he's in New York, but that doesn't translate to a whole lot of personality. I think there's always, and the debate happened 2 years ago as he broke the AL record, but there's also the debate of is this the true record?
Right.
So the AL record being Roger Maris and not Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle.
Right.
And then the NL/overall record being Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, this, that, whatever.
For me, if I'm being honest with you, I throw those seasons out the window.
So
I do.
Here's the thing about Aaron Judge and the Barry Bonds comparison. And I saw this note about Ohtani, who's also having an amazing year. The note was, and I'm sure it probably relates to Aaron Judge as well, Shohei Ohtani is having Barry Bonds' 11th best career season.
Yeah.
But obviously, caveat, this, that, whatever. Here's what I'm going to say about Aaron Judge, and I think this plays a little bit into it as well. Of his first 49 home runs before today, 45 of those are home runs only in Yankee Stadium. So take that for what it's worth. Chew on that. Mull it over. He's known for his opposite field power, which plays very well at Yankee Stadium with that aggressively short porch. And again, Major League hitting is very difficult. You play half your games at your home stadium. Why not tailor your game to where you play the majority of your games? But 45 of his first 49 home runs are homers only at Yankee Stadium. That's a fact. Take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. That's a pretty amazing stat when you bring it up.
Thank you.
But
I didn't research. Well, I found it.
And you know, this whole Barry Bonds thing, I'm not saying that Barry Bonds was not a great player. Barry Bonds before steroids was one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
Before steroids. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying the year he hit 73 or McGwire hit 70 or Sosa hit 66, I honestly take those seasons and throw them out the window. And until further proven that Aaron Judge is doing this cleanly, which I do think he is, in my opinion, watching Aaron Judge 2 years ago and watching him this year, personally, I think this might be one of the top 2 to 3 best offensive seasons of all time.
Yeah.
And that's considering he got off to a horrific start.
It's true. He might have hit 70 this year.
Yeah, he actually might have hit 70 if he wasn't like putting up AAA numbers for a month and a half at the beginning of the season.
No, he's just a big boy from Fresno. That's what it is. Really.
But we're going to move to our second cold card of the week, and that's Jason Dominguez, Aaron Judge's teammate, outfielder for the New York Yankees and AAA. He's at AAA Scranton now. He did come up for like a day.
Right.
For that.
Last Sunday, the Little League Classic.
Yeah, for the Little League Classic against the Tigers. But his 2024 Topps base PSA 10 and 2020 Bowman Chrome first in a PSA 10 are down 22.8 and 38.3% over the past week. $27 now for the Topps flagship base PSA 10. $31 for the first Bowman Chrome base PSA 10. He came up for one day. Of course, he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Very Jackson Holiday-esque to start. Love you, Jackson. You're doing great now, buddy. He was optioned right back to the minors the very next day. In the minors, he's hitting .309 with 8 homers, 27 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, and an .856 OPS. He's a 21-year-old switch hitter. Even coming back from a major surgery, he still is tearing up the minors. Alex Verdugo is not above replacement level this year.
He's terrible.
He's pretty bad. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure what the Yankees are doing, not bringing him up. I mean, I guess the thought is when rosters expand, you can bring him up. But and I don't know if this is a qualification thing, because even if you bring a guy up when rosters expand in September, he cannot be on the playoff roster unless he has played, I don't know if it's unless he's played a certain number of games, and I'm not sure what the rules are on that. But I don't know what the Yankees are waiting for. He's hitting over 300 in AAA, highest level in the minors, hitting over 300. He's better than Alex Verdugo right now. The Yankees need more help other than Judge and Soto. Who else in that lineup scares you? What are your thoughts on Dominguez? Obviously, Dominguez's cards are down because they sent him back down.
Right.
But take me through the Yankees' thought process on this.
Yeah. So when you first posed this question about is he a better option than Verdugo, my first thought was, well, they are heading to the playoffs. This is a whole lot of problems for a team that's in first place in their division, ahead of a really good Orioles team.
Yeah.
Playoff veteran Verdugo's been around. He's got a presence. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not familiar with Dominguez's potential as a defender. Yeah. We know Verdugo is a pretty solid defensive player. Mm-hmm. But then I did dig into the numbers, or at least a website called Empire Sports Media did, and I appreciate them for providing these numbers that I'll use. It's not that Verdugo's been bad. It's that he's atrocious. Like, he's worse than replacement level. He's worse than AAA level right now.
Yeah.
He's just broke out of an 0 for 21 slump. He is hitting in the 150s for the month of August. In the 150s. And he has an OPS of 490. Again, 700 is average.
Yeah.
Since June 15th, Verdugo is not playing badly. He is actually literally dead last in qualified hitters in OPS and has the second worst batting average since June 15th. Mm-hmm. So that is actively actually hurting your roster at that point.
So you know what we should do?
Play for the Yankees.
We should keep him on. We should keep him on the team and send Dominguez back down.
Absolutely. In terms of the Yankees lineup, Giancarlo has hit a few home runs lately.
Yeah.
Stanton steps into the batter's box, and you still get pretty nervous.
Also, nearly killed an umpire the other day.
That was today. Yeah, with his broken bat, right?
Yeah.
Like, he still steps into the box, and like, oh god,
it's still terrifying. You still clench. Mm-hmm. When Stanton steps in the 100%. Batter's box.
But then you throw a slider in the left-handed batter's box, and he's
swinging.
But he still looks so menacing.
Yeah, 100%.
Volpe's got the speed. You never know what you're going to get out of Glaber. I don't really expect much from the Yankees in October.
I don't either.
Luis Gil, who we talked about in one of our first episodes, is hurt.
Man, and was he fading before he got hurt, too?
I mean, it's all sort of plays, right? Yeah. So it is interesting. Like, that's a big question mark. And he will come up when rosters expand.
Yeah, he will.
I'm sure Cashman's having these conversations right now.
Right.
What to do with left field.
Right.
But it's interesting for a first place team.
Yeah, I think we'll see Dominguez up. I would be shocked if we don't see him up within the week.
But you're right. They need to make the decision 1st. Based off playoff roster.
Yeah, exactly. And like Dominguez, he needs the seasoning. It's clear he's hitting 300. Maybe you want to give him a little extra rest, take a few days off. Maybe that's why you don't want to waste a roster spot on a guy who's maybe only going to play 4 times a week because you're trying to slowly build him up. I get that. But let's be honest. Bring this guy up and have the upside. And even if he needs to take a couple days off a week or 1 day off a week, he's going to be so much better than Alex Verdugo that it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. Give the kid more at-bats so that when October comes, it's not such like a crazy, oh my gosh, look at the lights. They're so bright.
Do you think the Yankees could win a World Series, right? Do you think the Yankees are amongst the top 3 favorites to win the World Series? Oh, you don't?
I don't.
Would you go Dodgers, Phillies, or Dodgers?
I think the Dodgers have a better shot. I think the Phillies have a better shot. Honestly, I think the Orioles, I like the Orioles more as a team than the Yankees.
Even with all their injuries?
Yeah, even with their injuries. I like the Orioles a little more. The Guardians have been so good. It's so bizarre. But they've been good. I can't see it for the Yankees. I just can't see it. The depth is not there. It's just not. And especially when the Astros get Kyle Tucker back, and I just think the AL's too stacked, and their depth is going to come back to bite them. They need Dominguez on this roster now. But we're going to move into our Invest ? Segment of the week. We got 3 for you this week. First on the list is Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. We talked about Garrett Wilson in recent weeks. We talked about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
We did.
In recent weeks. We haven't talked about Marvin Harrison Jr., who's an interesting one. But Jordan Addison had that scary moment the other week when he was carted off the field, but it turns out it's a very minor ankle injury. 2023, his rookie season, of course, with Captain Kirk, he had 108 targets, 911 yards, and 10 touchdowns. That is actually a pretty crazy season considering he is sharing the field with Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. That just shows you how crazy Kirk slings the ball around the field, that 3 guys are basically 1,000-plus yard receivers.
And Cousins got hurt.
And Cousins ended up getting hurt.
Yeah, so that was Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, well, Josh Dobbs for the latter half.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we talked about Bijan and Drake London last week as well. But of course, the Vikings have this elephant in the room, which is how good is Sam Darnold going to be? I think Justin Jefferson is too good not to eat. Justin Jefferson will eat, no matter what. No matter who's quarterback, especially from the X slot. Justin Jefferson will eat. The question is, does Jordan Addison have a similar season to last year, or will there be a regression for Jordan Addison? We do have a Jordan Addison rookie phenom 1/1 NFL Shield autograph out of Donruss right here.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is a pretty sweet card. You can pick a 1/1 Jordan Addison Shield auto like this up for like 300 to $500,
Would invest.
which in my opinion is kind of a steal for a guy whose upside is kind of through the roof. This reminds me of when the Vikings had Diggs and Thielen.
Yeah, they were feeling Thielen.
You know, like that duo was nuts. I think this is the next really big duo. And if when JJ McCarthy comes back, if he is what everyone thinks he might be, or if Sam Darnold is actually better than people think, which he just might be, I think this card has the potential to go up quite a bit in value. What are your thoughts on Jordan Addison heading into this season?
How dare you forget about Chris Carter and Randy Moss as the Vikings wide receiver
Well,
duo.
no, I'm talking about
they're
it
not even close.
in the modern era, you know?
And let's just
Obviously,
say-
that was probably the greatest receiver combo ever.
Well, and Addison and Jefferson don't have Dante Culpepper slinging it to him downfield.
That's can you imagine?
Yes.
I mean, Kirk,
He's no Dante Culpepper. Or in his prime, Dante.
he doesn't have the arm.
Anyways, on the field, I think Addison is great. To be honest, off the field,
That's where the concern is.
I don't really love the character. He's already been charged with a DUI.
Yeah.
And I didn't love how his transfer saga went from Pitt. It speaks of a guy who I don't think very highly of, who obviously made a bad decision, right? He has a DUI.
Yeah.
He went to the highest bidder, USC over Texas, which, fine, you get yours, especially in the college game. He asked for Carson Palmer's retired number 3 just to go to USC. Didn't really play that hard. You know, he got some numbers. The team probably could have done a little bit better. He took some games off, didn't play in the bowl game, which again, modern thing, depends where you fall on that. And he got what he wanted. But I think he could have been the highest receiver picked, not Flowers. I think Jordan Addison could have been the number 1 receiver picked.
Yeah.
If he put in a little something in that year at USC.
Yeah.
DUI, which is terrible, and then kind of a not very high character year, leaving Pitt, going to USC. I don't really love the makeup.
Yeah.
As a wide receiver, sure, he's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
He showed it during his time at Pittsburgh. If he stays on the field and doesn't get his ass in trouble, like, yeah, it's going to be a big deal.
So if I offered you that for, say, $350, would you buy it?
$250.
No deal.
Okay. Well, that's where I'm at.
But that, you know, I thought it was interesting that this is one of the few very young receivers. Football cards are so crazy priced. This is one of the very bright young receivers that you can buy a 1/1 shield like this for under $500. And so I felt like we had to talk about it. Obviously, I have this one, or we picked this
You
one
know what
up.
I mean, though? Like, he's giving me red flag.
There are red flags, but there are also green flags on the talent. And if he can clean things up, then sky could be the limit for Jordan Addison. Under $500 for a 1/1 shield. Pretty cool, in my opinion.
I agree.
But let's move to our second invest question mark card of the week, and that's the 2023 Bowman Chrome first autograph in a PSA 10 of my boy, Junior Caminero.
This is your boy.
Of the Tampa Bay Rays. It is down 18.8% over the past week. The card is down I think in total over the past year now, this card's got to be down 60% or something.
That's crazy.
And it's now $228 for a PSA 10 version of this. He came up maybe 10 days ago, something like that. Did not have any extra base hits for like a week, but he had a respectable average. He was hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Came to Dodger Stadium over the weekend or end of last week for a 3-game set and homered in back-to-back games. Of course, in the minor leagues, Junior Caminero had a 307 average, 67 homers, 17 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. His OPS was 922. Remember, this dude is just 21 years old.
Exactly.
I think Junior Caminero is still at these prices. Ooh. I think Junior Caminero is one of the biggest buys in the hobby. I really do in terms of baseball.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on Junior Caminero? He's starting to heat up. 2 homers in his last 3 games now. Also flashed some speed, stole 2 bases in that series as well, I think. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on Caminero?
Yeah, he's a star. And this is one of the things I like to say on the show. I'd say I hate to tell I told you so, but I really don't. I think it was like our second episode ever. And we said the Tampa Bay Rays need to get Junior Caminero up to the big leagues.
Yeah.
We said what needed to happen. They didn't do it. And now look, the Rays took so long to get him up that they've fallen completely out of the race. They've sold at the deadline.
Yep.
And he's come up. Caminero's been a lightning bolt of excitement. He's productive. He's hitting over 300 since he's come up to the majors, and now he's hitting the power. God forbid a 21-year-old takes a little bit of time to adjust to the bigs. I know that front offices and I know that people on baseball teams have forgotten more about baseball than we'll ever know. I get that. But we saw this 3 months ago. It was clear as day. They had 0 production out of second base.
Right.
They still have. Taylor Walls is hitting under 200.
Yeah, it was mind-boggling, honestly.
And so it's going as exactly
Let's
as
be honest.
could have been seen from a mile away.
Let's be honest, though. This was the Rays manipulating service time.
Of course.
It is what it is. This is what the Rays do. They kind of have to do it based on what their budget is.
Yeah,
But I think Junior Caminero is going to be a star. Clearly, you do too. But we're going to move into our last, real quick segment here on, well, it's still the Invest ? Segment, but I want to talk about baseball RPAs in general, rookie patch autographs, because they sell for far less than in any other sport. Baseball, the king card is, of course, the Bowman First autographs, which are their first professional cards. Everyone on those cards looks like children. Whenever I'm buying them, I feel like a pedophile. Ooh. Although those are the cards that everyone wants for whatever reason. I looked earlier this morning.
When people watch this, it's the other day.
It's the other day. Well, yeah, when you watch it. Aaron Judge's 2017 RPA to 10 out of Topps Dynasty, which is pretty much like in my opinion, probably the biggest RPA product that Topps makes. In a BGS 9510 autograph, on August 19th, did $6,000. $6,000. Ohtani, his 2018 Inception RPA numbered to 10, did $6,750 on August 10th. Those are both this month. Let's go to the other sports. The best players in the other sports. Patrick Mahomes, his 2017 Flawless RPA numbered to 10 in a BGS 9.510, did $58,000 in March this year. $58,000. LeBron, his 2003 Exquisite RPA to 99, did $292,000 in August of this year. Yet the baseball RPAs are doing like $6,000 for like the best players in the league. In my opinion, I think baseball RPAs are one of the most undervalued cards in all of sports. And I think down the line, as these game-used jerseys get more popular and these designs look way cooler and Fanatics takes control of the hobby, which in essence means Topps, which is the baseball brand, takes control. Well, they've had control of baseball for a while.
Right.
But I'm saying once the marketing changes, because Panini markets the heck out of football, basketball. That's the money makers, right? I think you put the entire sports card market, you put that ball in Fanatics court, I think baseball RPAs are hugely undervalued, and I think they will explode in the next 2 to 3 years. What are your thoughts on baseball RPAs compared to Bowman firsts?
Pretty shocking. I mean, those are the stars of the game right now.
Yeah.
And they don't even compare.
No, it's not. It's not close. It's not close.
We probably don't have time for this, but it's just more of a commentary, right, on the baseball stars. I'm sure it's still the most known baseball. That's now Ohtani, but like 5 years ago, when Mike Trout was at the height of his powers, I bet someone would say that they knew who A-Rod or Derek Jeter was more likely than who Mike Trout is. So, with that being said, that seems more of like it's a baseball. You said, is Aaron Judge in the New York bubble? Well, that brings up the overarching issue. Baseball is just a regional sport, and that's the biggest issue here.
Or is it the issue that baseball is just not growing at the same speed as the other sports?
They say attendance is high. They say TV numbers are good, but like, what are you comparing it to?
You can't compare. I mean, you can't compare it to the NFL.
No.
You just can't.
I guess that's where you see the prices then.
Yeah, but is it? I mean, we're talking. What I'm really bad at math. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't ask me.
I'm really bad at math.
Don't ask me.
But we're talking. Is a Patrick Mahomes RPA really worth 10 times more than a Shohei Ohtani RPA? Or is a LeBron James RPA worth 25 times more than a Shohei Ohtani RPA? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't think that's the case. The Bowman Chrome firsts go way, way higher. Those are $100,000 cards in some cases, but you do not see RPAs being $100,000 cards. They are all under, for the most part, $50,000. Even Shohei's 1/1 PSA 10 RPAs are like $40,000 to $50,000. But we see Bowman first autographs go for $100,000. Like, I don't get it.
I hate to be the guy who's like, it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring, but we are comparing him to some of the great champions of the modern era as well.
Yeah.
Like
area too.
If Shohei goes on to October and wins a ring, that means he'll have some pretty historic moments.
Yeah.
Like his 40-40 Grand Slam took over online on Friday. And so if he leads the team and they win a ring, it's going to be because he does something remarkable. Maybe he shows up like the Undertaker out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And then we can have this discussion.
I'm telling you, Ohtani wins a ring this year with the Dodgers, comes back and pitches next year. If you think Ohtani's cards are expensive now, wait for those to double by the middle of next year. But that'll wrap things up for us here at the Hollywood Rip Studio for episode number something in the teens, as we said earlier,
14,
of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast. Hope you enjoyed our highly non-biased and totally unopinionated show for this week. If you like this week's show, of course, we'd love to hear from you down below in the comments. Did you agree with us? Disagree with us? Either way, we want to know. We want to talk to you. And don't forget to ring that notification bell and subscribe to the channel, because diggity dog, that does help us out. So until next time, Mr. Hollywood, Joe Nasty, out.